What if I told you that you cannot ask others what to do with your career or with your life in general? Asking others what to do and following that is possibly the worst strategy you can ever deploy. And I want to talk about this. Why? Because I meet an increasing number of young people, especially young people, who are asking me and others what to do in terms of their career. What jobs should they be looking for? What should they be studying once they finish their, primary education and all that? And what companies they should be working for and all that kind of things. Now, why is asking others this information and to brainstorm in order to figure out what you want is great, and this is what we should all be doing. But asking others to tell you what to do so then you can go and do it, that's not okay. I want to talk about this. Hi, I'm Sylvia, an organizational psychologist, and I talk about everything and anything related to HR and organizations. This video is specifically to the individuals, but it also has some relevance to organizations because I think the fact that people are lost and maybe they just follow what others are telling them to do, go and be a manager, go and be this, go and be that. I think that also contributes to turnover and has very specific implication on talent management strategies, which we don't think about. So maybe I talk about this a little bit at the end of the video, but that's not the topic of this video. So I wanted to offer you my strategy, just as much as Mel Robbins' strategy, theory, the let them theory. So my theory in life is not asking others, not following others. I never really followed other people. Now, when you don't know something, when you are incompetent, you look out and you look at what others are doing, right? But because you are collecting information, not in order to follow them. And so we all look at others, studying, observing what others are doing, just to analyze and look at our options. But this is not what's happening in the workforce. What is happening in the workforce is that people are asking others what to do. 2 weeks ago, I had a workshop, and these two young men, lovely young men, one of them is engineer, the other one is in revenue management. They asked me to tell them what to do. And I said, I will never tell you what to do. I'm like, we can talk about your options, but I'm not going to tell you. Why? Because if I tell you, go and do this, I am not the person who's going to go and do that every single day for 10 hours. It's you. So I think it is reasonable for you to make that decision, how you want to spend your time. Because if somebody else is telling you, this is where frustration comes into the picture, this is where burnout, because you're just following others, right? So I think there is another way of thinking about life, because then I see the opposite, not doing anything. And people are just sitting quietly, I'm not doing that, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't know, the system is against us, nobody, it's impossible to find a job, it's impossible to do this, etc., etc. And it takes people down on different paths that are so far away from what they actually want and what actually works for them. Because these are the people who are spending their money just to please others, and then they are in debt. That doesn't work for you. So my theory was always what doesn't work for me and what works for me. And I could not care about anybody else's opinion. And my teacher, I remember I was 14, and one of my teachers said to the other, and I was in the room, that Sylvia is not always good at knowing what she wants, but she's always very clear about what she doesn't want. And that was always my stepping stone to everything I did during my life, right? But that somehow turned into this doesn't work for me and that works for me. And if you approach things with this mindset, then you can remove all the emotions. Sometimes we get into relationships. Sometimes it's in the workplace, oh, this stupid workplace, oh, this stupid guy, this stupid woman, whatever. While all you have to say is, this is not working for me. What is the alternative? And you take your power back. Because I can see also an increasing number of young people who are completely powerless, and they have this learned helplessness that we have in psychology, that they were literally taught, or told, that they don't have options. And that's, I think, is the most dangerous way of thinking in life. I don't think anything is more detrimental to humans than this mindset. Because, no, you cannot do everything you want. But maybe all you have to do is do the things that you can. And that changes your life. It has certainly changed my life. I can't do everything I want, but I do everything, we are human beings, right? That I can to change my life. And this approach that it's not working for me or this works for me, it clarifies who you are. And you don't get lost in society's narrative. You don't get lost in what your friends are doing. I remember I saw a TikTok video last year. There was this TikTok trend that this guy they used to go to high school together, and 10 years and then he recorded everybody, what is it, who are you going to be, or what are you going to be in 10 years? And everybody said something, and 10 years later, he revisited those people. And it was fascinating, these trends. Just look it up on TikTok. And I remember one of the couples, it was so beautiful, or one of the girls. So she said, I'm going to be something I can't remember now. And 10 years later, she was with her husband, very young couple, right? Like in their early 20s, just with a newborn baby. She was not working, the guy was working. They said that the guy is earning like $1,400 a month, but they are extremely happy. And I literally cried at this video because it was so beautiful. I'm like, this is it. Like, they don't care about what others are doing. They don't care about what others think of them. This works for them for now. And everything changes in life, right? And I think when you have this mindset, that takes you takes you a long way. Because life is in cycles. What works for you today is not going to maybe work in 5 years. And that's okay. That's just the sign that, hey, it's transition time, it's change time, right? But we are scared of the pain and being uncomfortable with these changes. So what I see is people sit back and they spend 5 years, 10 years wasting their life in the same job, and them being bored, and companies are, jumping hoops to motivate and engage people, but that's impossible because, that person is just lost. And we don't have to. And this is where I would like to talk to companies, that I think, yes, we have all our processes which are not really working, but what is really missing and what works in education is career coaching, career counseling. Because I have a friend who works in education and he's a counselor, and he's doing this career coaching and gets the kids into universities with a really good result. And of course, the kids are lost, like we all been lost, right? But imagine if we had that in the corporations. So that person could prepare the person for an interview, have the conversation with them. Okay, what do you want? Have the career transition conversation with employees who've been in employment for 30 years, 20 years, 40 years, and they are just stagnant. They are just stagnant, and we can't even push them out because they are doing the job, but they are not engaged, not happy. I hate the word engagement, you know me. But they would be rather somewhere else. They would rather be somewhere else, but they just can't figure it out. And because they can't figure it out, they are scared of making any step forward, and they just stay because that's human beings, right? So don't get caught up. What I really wanted to say in this video, that don't get caught up in what others are doing, because this is where you get lost as an individual. Your personality get diluted. You don't even know. 5 years later you wake up, okay, who am I? Well, you don't know, because you've been listening to everybody and you were doing things that that you didn't want, but you did it because everybody else was doing it or expected of you to do. Right? Now, of course, everything has its consequences and its price. And my grandmother always said that, hey, everything has its price tag. You just need to decide what you are happy to pay for. And that's so true. And I'm happy to pay for things that works for me. And things working for me doesn't mean that I'm not struggling sometimes, because as long as you are moving forward. When you are struggling because something is new, something you are learning, you are growing, it's painful, but you are moving forward, that's good. That's working for me. So you always go back to, is it working for me? Am I moving forward with whatever I want to be moving forward with? Or you are struggling and stagnant. Now, that's not working for me. So sit down and think about whatever your situation is. Is it working for me or it's not working for me? And that's it. And from then onwards, it's really, okay, what would be the alternative? What would work? And it doesn't mean that you need to change your whole life. It doesn't mean you need to resign. It doesn't mean that you need to divorce. You need to dump your responsibilities. It just means that what it is right now, it's not working. What are the small changes I can make so that it works, that we can start moving forward? I'm not talking about happiness and all that, blah, blah, blah. No. What is working? What makes me move forward? Because stagnation is the worst thing. This is where unhappiness lies, stagnation. You never met a happy person who is stagnant. So moving, nature is all about moving. Nature constantly moves. So if you are stuck, you can't be happy, right? If you are stuck, you're now moving forward. If you are stuck, it's not working for you. Change your mindset. And don't ask others what you're supposed to do with your career or with your life, because nobody can tell you that. And you don't want it to be told, because you would be the first upset when it didn't work out, it's your fault. No. It's your life. This is what's called adulting, right? You need to make decisions, you need to take responsibility. And yes, you need to pay the price, because you will make, if you have the mindset, what's working for me, then you will make decisions that will not work for others. And you have to be okay with it. Right? That's fine. Also, if you say you sit at home and you are just rebellious, I'm not going to go dating, I'm not going to go look for a job, I'm not going to whatever it is, because it's all stupid, everybody's stupid out there, and the recruitment market is broken. Yes, this is what it is. But that doesn't mean it's working, for you, because you are not moving forward. You're not getting what you want. You're not getting a boyfriend, husband, girlfriend, wife, whatever. You're not getting a job, right? Or the job that you want. So it's not working for you. So if freedom is not free, freedom comes with responsibility, and freedom is not asking others and tell me what I should do. Right? And then you go around happily saying, I'm free. No, you're not, because you're asking others to tell you what to do. So there is a heavy price tag to freedom and to this mindset, but the outcome is that you get to do things that works for you. And that's it, really. That's it. But be ready for to account for those people who, things that you are doing is working for you is not going to work for others. I hope this helps.